Hello, today I'm going to show you to take just one light, make this shot right here, then slowly we're going to add a few more lights, a few more reflectors, and we're going to end up with this shot right here, so stick around. Hi, my name is Keith Fuller. I'm a photographer based out of Glasgow, Scotland. You can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Facebook, or you can find me on my website. All the links are down below. So today I'm going to show you a very versatile, very simple lighting setup. And you can start out with just one light. You'll get a great editorial, dramatic style portrait. You can add a few more lights. You're going to end up with a really nice corporate headshot style. And then finally, with just a little bit more, you're going to end up with a great beauty portrait setup. So, you can make this as simple or as complex as you want. And let's just dive right in.
Alright, here everything's loaded up in the Lightroom, and before I get going I'd like to say thank you to my beautiful lovely wife for posing for all of these. And the second thing is that I tried to keep everything here the same. This was all shot on a full frame camera, a 5D Mark III. I used an 85mm, this guy right here. When you're shooting these types of portraits, it's really important to pick the right lens. An 85 or a 7200, those work really well for this type of shot. Everything was shot at f4, 1/160, which is the sync speed of my flash units, and I shot at ISO 50. I could have shot at 100, but then I would add a shoot at f5.6 for the same exposure, and I just thought the f4 looked a little bit better. So the first image right here, this was done with one single softbox, and it's this Bowen 60 by 80 centimeter softbox. It's not huge, but it's great for this type of setup. If you're doing full body shots, you're definitely going to need something a little bit larger. But the softbox was set up just like this, where it was in its portrait orientation slightly in front of the subject. So if you look right here on the diagram, you can see what I'm saying. It's straight on and not at an angle. It gives a nice window light, but to be honest, I wasn't too crazy about it for this type of portrait. So the next thing I did was add in a reflector. And you can see right here on the diagram again, the reflector is right here, it's about 3 feet away, so it's pretty far away, but it's still making quite a big difference from no reflector to reflector. And then here it's about 2 feet, and here it's right almost in the frame. It's actually, if you look at this diagram right here, it's right there, right out of frame. And I just wasn't crazy about that lighting setup. So the second thing I did was go to more of a Rembrandt style lighting. And you can see right here, this is actually with no reflector, and this is straight out of camera, nothing's been done to it. So the softbox was actually just, here, let me tilt this. So it's just at a 45-degree angle, and you get this nice kind of triangle of light right there. You can see it right here. It's just at a 45-degree angle. And from here, starting from here, it's a slight move of the softbox, but it just makes a huge difference. And here's right out of camera, here's the same image slightly touched up. And for a lot of things, this is a great portrait image right here. You can just stop. It's simple. It's one light. It's kind of moody. But if you want to move on, that's what we can do. So right here is with the reflector, and that's about 2 feet away. And here it is right in the frame. I think that's a little much, so I kind of settled on the about 2 feet away. So if you look at the diagram again, it's let me do that. It's actually just right about over here, about 2 feet away. So it's adding a subtle fill. You can see that's without, and that's with. The next thing I did to give a little separation was just throw in a backlight. And you can buy fancy backlight reflectors or things like that, but I actually just have a beauty dish with a grid. It's a 21-inch beauty dish, and all I did was just lay it down. You can see right here in this image, upside down. It just points right up at the background, and you get a nice kind of separation light with it. If you don't use the grid, it's going to be all over the place. Here it gives kind of a nice centered little bit of a glow, and just adjust it to whatever you're liking. The third light was a simple hair light right here. You can see it coming along right there, and all that was with a speed light. That was just a Canon 430 EX2, I think, and that's just a little tiny 12, 16-inch softbox. When I was living in the States, I grabbed 2 of those for they were less than $20 a piece, and they're great for these kind of hair lights right here, these little kicker lights to give a little bit of separation. So you can see here without it, and then here's with it. And this is a great image for any sort of business style portrait, headshots like that. You can be done right here. And let me show you this is the diagram that we have going right here. There's a gridded beauty dish on the back. The key light is right this softbox right here. There's a reflector, and then there's a small softbox adding a little bit of lighting right along here. So to take this a little bit further, I went ahead and added the same sort of light, but on the other side, and you can see the diagram right here. So you have 2 small softboxes. It's basically the same thing, and it's just adding a little bit of glow right here along the cheek and in the hair. It's not, it's not too much. Here it is without it, and there it is with it. So right here we're using the 4 light setup, and once again, this is a good place to just stop, but I'll add a little bit more and you can see what else you can do with this. So here's the setup right there. These are the little soft boxes. One of the lights was a Yongnuo, the other one's a Canon. And then in this last image right here, all I did was we used a reflector. And that's just a piece of foam core. You don't need anything special. This works great. The person can hold it. It gives a nice bounce back up into the face. You can see right here, everything is just a little dark. The shadows under the neck are a little bit dark. And then you can go ahead and add that, and it brightens everything up. It just, I don't know, it cleans everything up a little bit. And the other thing I did, and this is pretty subtle, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it on the screen, but the hair right here, if you look in this previous image, to me, that looks a little bit blue. And it's probably just the fact that I was using speed light, and the other one was a studio light, so they were probably coming out at slightly different temperatures. So that to me looks a little blue. So what I went ahead and did was just add one of these CTOs, I don't know if you can really see it, just orange film on there, and it matched the color temperature of the rest of the strobes. It's just a slight little change, but I thought it made a nice difference. And here you go, you can see what I'm talking about. Here's the image with the reflector, and that's the little CTO gel. I turned it out so you can see how I put it on there. So then if you want to add a different color to the background, it's pretty easy to do. All you got to do is, it's basically the same type of thing. I put it over the beauty dish. Make sure that if you put these gels on a studio light, you do not leave the modeling lamp on. It will melt it within a second. To me, this image with this background looks like an 80s or 90s kind of glam shot or something. I didn't really like it, but I'm just showing you what you could do with it. You could change the background really easily just putting on some gels. And finally, if you just want a white background, it's really easy too. I mean, right here you got a nice white background. If you want to cut this out and replace the background, or sometimes people just like this nice blown out kind of background look, all I did was take the grid off and just turned it up quite a bit. And you can see right here, I mean, you still have all the detail. You just got to be really careful on how bright you make this. You just want to make sure that you can still see hair detail. Otherwise, it's just going to look a little bit, I don't know, mushy. So just be careful with that. So here's an image, kind of slightly touched up. You can kind of get an idea of what they look like. There's the image with the 4 lights, the reflectors. And that's where we ended up, and here's where we started. And they're both great portraits. This one's just 1 light. It's pretty simple, and then you can build it up all the way to right here by adding all the other lights. And it's essentially just adding one light on top of another on top of another, and you get totally different looks. Here it is also where I just turned it into landscape orientation. I think I opened it up a little bit more. I think this one's at 3.5. And you just get a great look. You get a nice catch light in the eye. It's not a beauty dish, which is going to give you a round one, but it's still a nice catch light in the eye. It makes the eye pop quite a bit. Here's the image in full screen, and as you can see, we've got the main softbox coming in right here, and then there's the reflector on the side filling in the shadows. There's a hair light coming down right here. It's coming down the neck and the hair. There's a second hair light coming down over here, and then a reflector underneath filling in some of the shadows under the neck, and then finally a light on the background. So you can make this as simple or as complex as you'd like. Like I said before, just depending on what you want to use it for. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I'll make sure to answer them. Once again, my name is Keith Fuller from K2Focus.com, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.